Today we will be doing step 2 of how to become a profitable business in the beauty industry. Helena will be covering the costings today. Helena, tell me, is there anything specific you want to start with?
Yes, I would like to start with profit margin and markup to explain the difference.
Okay.
So when we talk about markup, that is when we will look at what is the price that you ask your client for a product, a retail product. So let's say that is 150 Rand. And what is the price that you pay your supplier for that product? Let's say that is 100 Rand. So we look at the difference between that, 150 minus 100. So your profit is 50 Rand.
Okay.
To work out the markup, we're going to divide the profit into the price that you pay your supplier.
Okay.
So we're going to say 50 Rand profit divided into 100 Rand that you pay your supplier.
Yeah.
And you get 0.5 and you multiply it by 100 to get a percentage. So your markup is 50%.
Okay.
So that for us is working out the markup, which is your profit divided by the cost price that you pay your supplier.
All right.
So that means from 100 Rand to 150, we would have said 1.5.
Okay.
Okay. Our most important factor is our profit margin.
Okay.
So to work out profit margin, we also look at what do we ask the client for the product, 150 Rand. We also look at what do we pay our supplier, 100 Rand. We also look at what is the profit, 50 Rand. But now we divide the profit into the price that we ask the client to work out what our profit margin is. So we are going to say 50 Rand divided by 150, and that gives you 0.33. In order to get a percentage, we multiply it by 100. So our profit margin is 33%.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our profit margin.
And this will play an important role when it comes to going through the costings of the business.
Correct. And also understanding the profit margins of your different brands.
Okay.
So what I have to say, what is important to know here, when you sell this product, for every 100 Rand, you make 33 Rand.
Profit.
Yeah, so every 100 Rand of this product that you sell, your profit is 33 Rand. So even though your markup is 50% from the cost to the selling price, the money you make is 33. So just be mindful when your rep talks about the markup, that is not the money you make. The margin is the money you make.
Okay.
Great. So the first thing that we're going to look at is your different retail brands.
Okay.
So normally you stock more than one brand.
Yeah.
So you will then do that exercise on each brand to see what is the profit margin per product brand that you have. Now, when you have a 40+% profit margin on a brand, that is fantastic. That is where you want to be.
All right.
When you do around about 33%, that is sort of average.
All right.
It's okay, but it's obviously not the best.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have like a lash product or something like a lip product or something that's not your main thing, and you make a small amount, like a 20% profit margin.
Yeah.
So that is not ideal. I wouldn't put my energy in that. Sometimes you have those things to attract someone to start buying from you, and then you lead them up to those that make a better profit margin. What I would suggest is, let's say for this product, you do find a brand and you see, okay, this brand's got something similar and they give me more profit margin.
Okay, so a different brand, the same solution, basically.
Correct. So then I would migrate to the other brand.
Yes.
So always look out. It's not the end of the world if you have some of these profit margins, but always be looking out to see, how can I get that one there? How can I get that one there?
Okay.
You can even sit with some of your brands and try and negotiate with them. Maybe they will say if you order X amount, they're happy to give you more profit margin.
Okay. And then tell me, how would you basically use these percentages and then the markup and profit margins when you break down the retail products? I believe we discussed you have an Excel sheet.
Yes.
Okay, and how would you break it down on the Excel sheet?
Okay, so this is particularly for products. On the Excel sheet, there are products involved, but we'll focus on the treatment costings and the treatment profit margins.
Okay.
Before we move on, I just want to talk about increases.
Okay.
So there is typically most of the brands will go up 1st of March with the new financial year. So 1st of March is a time of the year where most of the brands go up.
Yeah.
Here and there's brands that go up in August or they go up in October. Doesn't matter when your brand goes up. If they go in August, you put your products up in August. It's fine. So when it comes to retail, you put up your retail prices when your brand go up.
Okay.
So that's fine. Now we have to look at your treatments and when do you put your treatments up.
Okay.
So for your treatments, again, some of them will obviously need to go up in March because when the retail products goes up, your professional products go up at the same time. But a lot of these brands will only tell you sort of at the beginning of March, which doesn't give you enough time to change your price list and get a new design and all of that. So what I often recommend is put your retail up on the 1st of March because you will have that info and you can do it within a day. But then put your treatment prices up on the 1st of April. So you at least have a month to do all your editing and get that out. You can so long tell your clients.
Okay.
What I would suggest every year, try and do it at the same time. Your clients get used to it and it isn't a problem with them. What some people do is, to soften it for their clients, is they put up the prices not 1st of April, but like 1st of October, just before your busy season, because it lands a bit softer.
Okay.
It really is your own choice.
And what would you recommend between putting it up as soon as you're getting results or putting it up in the busy season? Because obviously you're missing out on your winter months now where you could have put your treatments up, missing up on that extra revenue income.
Yeah, so it really depends on the business. Some businesses want to make it easy for their clients and they have enough cash flow for the winter. They have enough margin. So some people might just prefer to do it round about.
What would you recommend?
I would recommend 1st of April.
1st of April?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because now already you're paying more on your products, so that puts pressure on your cash flow.
Okay.
And you are going into quieter months.
Okay, perfect.
So that is our increase done. Let's talk about how much you put up. So most of your brands will put up their prices 6 to 8%.
Yeah.
But you need to look at your 3 main expenses, which is your salaries. So a lot of salons will also put up their salaries 6 to 8%.
Yeah.
And then it will be your rent. So you need to check in your contract. A lot of rents go up with 10%. And then that will be your cost of sales, which we said normally they do that. So you will put up your prices somewhere around here, 6 to 8%.
Okay.
I believe you can put it up to 10%.
Okay.
It's your choice. You need to read your market and where you're at with your clients.
All right.
What I would say is do not skip a year. It will put immense pressure on your cash flow in a year's time, and you can never gain back 2 increases ever.
Okay.
And sometimes your clients get a little bit entitled. If you kept your prices the same for 2 years, they now want you to keep the prices the same. Then it becomes more difficult to put the prices up.
Yeah.
But always rather put your prices up. You can always run a discount. But if you don't put your prices up, you're quite stuck.
Okay. And tell me if the competitors in the area, the same salons, that sell the same type of products, if they don't put it up, would you still recommend putting it up?
So what I've seen is I've worked with clients in the same area, and then they look at their competition, which I'm also coaching, and then no one puts their prices up because no one puts their prices up.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say you have to align with your brands, and you can communicate it like that with your clients. And I mean, we always know that your brands will go up 1st of March and you go up 1st of April. So you can already warn your clients in Jan. Normally, if your clients have enough notice, then they're quite all right with a change. So I would definitely suggest put up your prices. As soon as you put up yours, everyone will see you put up your prices and they'll put up their prices. Yes.
Excellent.
Perfect. So what we'll work out next is the cost per minute. And what you need for that, we've just completed in step 1 your budget for the next year. So you will take the total of your expenses, but not your cost of sales. So not your professional products or retail products or consumables, but all your other expenses like your marketing, your rent, your salaries, your telephone, your entertainment, refreshments, all the other expenses. For the year, you divide it by 12 to get an average per month for your next year's budget.
Okay. So obviously it's mostly fixed or not very big variables in those expenses.
Yes. Yeah, like your insurance will be fixed, but maybe your entertainment refreshments will vary from month to month. Okay, so you take your average for the year, and let's say, for instance, that's 140,000 Rand. Okay, so that is your average expenses per month. Then next up, we have to look at how many days is your business open and do you bring in income. So most businesses are open for 1 to 22 days in a month. And I always deduct 2 days for sick leave of staff, for annual leave, and for training days in the year. So we will go, I think it would be safe to go on 19 days that you work per month. So we're spending 140,000 per month on our expenses, excluding cost of sales. We've got 19 days that we're working. Then we're going to look at how much staff work for us that bring in income. So yeah.
That's not going to be receptionists or like cleaning staff or like that.
Yes, or even operators that wash their hair. So we only look at those people that generate money. Let's say you have a manager that half of the day does therapy, or some receptionist that is a backup therapist. So that you count, let's say we have 3 therapists and a manager that works half of the time. We will say it's 3.5 therapists. Okay. Then we've got to work out between your busy month and your quiet month, what is the average hours that you are bringing in money per day? Now, if we think about it, in a day, there is 9 hours, of which 1 hour is lunch. So essentially, you've got 8 hours to do therapy. Some places give 15 minutes to clean and to prep for your client in between. So for 5 clients, that can take an hour or an hour and a half out. And then normally you need a half an hour for admin and those type of things. So it's almost about 2 hours in a day. So for some people, 6 hours would be the max that you can do in a day.
We can generate revenue.
Yes. Then what I would suggest, go and look in your quiet months. Let's say that's a July, a June, or an August. And then see on average, what does my staff work? So let's say we go on the 3.
And that's going to be per therapist?
Per therapist per day. So we maybe take the month of July, we divide it by our 19 days, and we see the one therapist worked in the quiet time 2 hours a day, the other one 3, the other one 4. So between them, we get 9, and then divide that by the 3. So in the winter, they were doing 3 hours per day. Okay. Then we go in the busy season, and then maybe they did like 4 and 5 and 6. So we're sitting here with 15 hours by the 3 staff. So that gives you an average of 5. And then I would take 5 hours per day. So we take the busy month, which is 5, plus the quiet month, which is 3. That gives us 8. Divided by the 2 months, so that's an average of 4 hours per day. So here we've got 4 hours that we're actually bringing in money. We are booked with clients. And then the next up, we're going to look at now calculating. So we are going to take the 140 divided by 19 days, divided by 3.5 staff members that bring in money, divided by an average of 4 hours of bringing in money, and then there is 60 minutes in an hour. So I'm going to take a moment and do that sum. So it is 140,000 divided by 19, 3.5, 4 hours and 60 minutes, and that gives me per minute, my therapy for everyone is R8.77. That's
going to be all expenses, like we said, salaries, rent, insurance, all the smaller information, and then just not cost of sales, so not professional stock, and obviously consumables as well.
And also not retail.
Also not retail.
Yes. So this is what you cost, and I would just like to give you just a ballpark normally. So your smaller salons where the rent is not so expensive, they don't have such expensive treatments or products. It's maybe a smaller town, that type of thing. Maybe not such a big team. There you're going to sit with 5 maybe to 8 Rand per minute.
So that's the average.
Yeah. Then if you sit with someone who's using high-end products, it is more higher rent, more expensive treatments, more marketing costs, etc. There we're going to sit more with like 7 to 10 Rand per minute.
Okay.
And then for medical aesthetic doctors that also maybe have a therapist or an assistant,
Yeah.
so with them, it will be quite a bit higher. You're looking at 10 to 15 Rand per minute.
Okay.
So this can just give you an idea, depending which of those three you are, because this then would need to make sense in that relation. So obviously this salon is more in this region, a little bit more higher rent, more expensive products that they're stocking.
Okay.
Great. So what you're going to do with this cost per minute is you're going to multiply it with the duration of your treatment.
Okay.
And that's going to be part of your total cost.
Multiplied by, so 8 minutes by
Like 8 Rand.
8 Rand 77. So
Yeah.
the treatment is 60 minutes. So it's 8.77 multiplied by 60.
Yes.
And that's going to be your cost for that treatment, your fixed cost.
Yes. So we're going to use this and we're going to multiply it with the time that you spend on a treatment. And I quickly did the maths on that. So just the time to do the treatment for this particular situation is 526.
Okay.
And then I'll go into the detail now, but just quickly to summarize it, then you're going to add your professional products that you use in the different steps, and then your consumables like cotton wool, gauze, gloves, those type of things. Let's say that comes to 100 Rand. So the cost of this particular treatment then is 626. Then we don't make a cent yet.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Let's just pause for a second. You are clearly invested in making changes in your business to ensure profitability. We are 15 minutes into this video, 15 minutes that you will never get back. My question is, how much more time can you afford to spend trying to figure it out all on your own? After implementing all 4 steps of my proven method, the change you desire will come. But it won't be easy. It will take much longer when you do it all by yourself. Book a discovery call so that we can get started and I can guide you through this process. If you are not ready yet, continue watching and implement these steps so that you can start moving in the right direction. When you are ready, let me know so that I can simplify and speed up the process for you. So there is an Excel sheet that I will be sharing with everyone. They can just DM us or respond on this with costings.
Okay.
So I will send an Excel sheet, and on that Excel sheet there are different columns which I'll run through now. So the first column, you're going to list the treatment. So it will show categories at the top. You can say there's skin treatments, waxing, manicures, pedicures, massage, etc. So it's the treatment, you list that down. Next up, you're going to put the duration of the treatment. So let's say this is a waxing treatment and it's 30 minutes.
Okay.
Then after that, we're going to put in the price. What is your current price that you ask for it? So let's say that's 200 Rand. And then ideally, you want to get 1 to 4 competition. So you can take maybe a big franchise brand in the country. You can take a salon in your area that offers similar services. And you can also take a similar type of setup, but in a different town that uses similar brands and similar treatments. So we're going to put maybe the one ask 190, the other one 240, the other one 220. The reason we want to look at this is when we do an increase or if we have to adjust your price in order to have a proper profit margin, we just want to see that you don't outprice yourself in the market, that people don't suddenly leave you and go elsewhere. Next up, we would have had our cost per minute, which is that 8 Rand 77. And it's going to multiply it with that 30. And I can quickly just see 30 times by that. So that will be 263. That is your cost per minute divided times your time. And then we're going to have our cost of sales, which will be all the products that you use. Let's say that's 30 Rand, your strips and your wax and everything. And we're then going to add these two together. So we're going to sit with 263 plus 30. So the base cost of this treatment is 293. So already now we can see if we say that minus that, we make a loss of 93 Rand on this treatment. And if I quickly work that out, our loss is 46%. If I worked it out correctly, yes. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why we want to do this exercise. We assume that we make a profit on everything, but you don't always do.
Just check that percentage. You to work out that percentage.
So I took the loss and I divided into the price that we are currently asking.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
I see.
So you can see it's almost half of it. It's almost 100 Rand.
Right.
So it's 46%. Yes.
For a second, I thought you divided by the
cost.
The cost.
No.
I'm incorrect. Sorry.
Yes.
Continue, please.
So now we have to look at how do we change this, because this is a problem. So there are 3 ways how you can now change this negative to a positive, or at least break even. Sometimes this is quite a big, 46% loss. So sometimes it's going to take you 2 years. You might change the price now just to break even. And then the next year you're going to start making profit on it.
So that is if you just increase the price on its own.
So there's 3 ways. The one is, yes, we can change the price. Okay. So let's say, for instance, we charge now 350 Rand. We decide we're going to change that to 350. And that will then give us a profit of 57 Rand. So if I take 57 Rand and I divide it into the 350 that we charge, then we're sitting now with 16% profit margin. So we've gone from a minus 46 to a 16% plus just by changing the price. Okay. What we can also do is that we can change the time. So let's say we say this actually, we can upskill the girls and they can do it in 20 minutes. So now suddenly we are sitting with for the time, it doesn't cost us 263 anymore. For 20 minutes, it's now going to cost us 175. Your time multiplied by your duration, which now this changes to 205 Rand. And now suddenly we are only making 5 Rand loss, which is 2.5%. You can do a combo. We can change the time and make this slightly more. So you can manipulate it. So the first one we said is the price. The second one is the duration. And then the last one is to look at the products that you use. So could we maybe have a different brand? And with this brand, it's only going to cost us 20 Rand. And then you obviously bring this cost down again, just like we got the cost down by reducing the time. So those are your 3 ways. You will then either, if it's a bad loss like this, you try and get to a break even. Because this 350, you can see you're going to outprice you out of the market. So you might just want to get to a point where you break even or make like a 10 or 15% profit. Yes.
All right. And then obviously the best would be not to just use 1 or 2, but the combination of all 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Next up, each type of treatment that you do, the different categories, has got different ideal profit margins. So when we look at your hands and your feet, which is your manicures and your pedicures, you want to look at a 10 to 15% profit margin. That is very good. Okay. Normally it's not so high because it's a treatment that doesn't cost a lot, but it actually takes quite a lot of time. It takes an hour and a half, but it doesn't cost that much. Then with your waxing or with your laser hair removal, there we look at 20 to 40% profit margin that you want to do. And then with your massages, you look at 30 to 50% profit margin. It normally doesn't, it's quite a nice price that you charge massages, and it doesn't have a lot of product that you use. And then lastly, with your skin treatments or your facials, you want to vary between 25% to 50%. So 25% is more like just your hydrating and deep cleanse and those type of facials, where 50% is more like your microneedling and your peels and those type of treatments. So this is where you want to land with them, or if you're not there yet, you want to progress to there over 2 years or so.
So obviously with this 3 different formulas or 3 different
Adjustments.
adjustments to make sure that each treatment is profitable.
Yes.
We are going to go through the entire price list for
Yes.
all the treatments.
Yes.
And we are going to classify them or group them, and then put in the duration, the price, as well as 3 to 4 competitive prices.
Yes.
And then your cost per minute or on the
Yes.
Excel sheet.
Yes.
And then work out every treatment, if they are profitable, if they are on break even, if we are losing money.
Yes.
And then obviously those that are not within these
Yes.
profit ranges, we're going to make adjustments
Yes.
and restructure our
Yes.
price list when it
Yes.
comes to the treatments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very important. You're going to fill in the treatment, the duration, the price, the competition, and the cost per minute. But there is a formula
Okay.
that will spit out for you what is the duration times the cost per
Okay.
minute. You will fill in the cost of sales, but there is a formula that will add them up together. There is a formula that will tell you what is your profit margin.
Okay.
And then there is a column where if you're at a stage where you want to increase your prices, where you can put that in.
Yeah.
And then it will tell you when you do that price increase, what is your profit margin.
Okay, and that's all in the Excel sheet.
It is.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great.
Is there anything else you want to cover?
Yeah, I just want to say that everything is profit margin.
Okay.
It doesn't help that you make R1 million a month, but you don't actually make a profit.
Yeah.
And sometimes your most popular treatment doesn't make money.
Yeah.
And then
How
you
often
actually
do you see that? Because I know we've had that discussion before where the treatments that are not popular are making a lot of money when it comes to profit margin, and then the most popular treatments are making a loss or just barely some profit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've worked with a client, she did $500,000 a month, and
Yeah.
her most popular treatment didn't make any money. And she was completely shocked. And most of the time when I do this exercise with the clients, they are totally shocked.
Yeah.
They cannot believe that there are actually treatments that they don't make money on,
Yeah.
and they didn't realize that. So at least then you know that everything that you are doing is making a profit, and it's worthwhile putting the energy and the training and running your business. You know exactly what's happening with the income coming in. Just 2 things that I have to say is when you put your price list together and you do this exercise, I highly recommend that per category, you list them from the most expensive to the least expensive treatment. So with waxing, you start with the most expensive and then the least expensive at the bottom. They have seen if you list it like that, people spend 6% more.
Okay.
And then normally people only read the first few lines.
Yeah.
So they never get to the expensive treatments.
Okay.
But now they have to read the expensive ones, and then eventually by repeating it, they'll start also booking those.
Okay.
And then the last thing I just want to say is that you can also do is your treatments that are very profitable, try and highlight them or put them in bold or a little bit brighter, because the eye is drawn to that.
Yeah.
And then people will want to book that, and that's where you make your money.
Okay.
That's it.
And tell me, in all your years of working as a coach, have you ever done this exercise, a costing exercise with a client, and all their prices were correct?
No. There has always been a shock, and that's why I feel so strongly about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Only a pleasure. Thank you.